Someone wrote this one in. Am I an asshole for getting the ick by my boyfriend clipping his toenails in front of me?
No. I also think some people are just really grossed out by feet.
Some people are really into feet. Shawn has
some people really like feet.
She's like a foot fetish community online.
No.
I thought you were about to say I had a foot fetish. I was like,
do you?
No.
Hey friends, it's your girl Emily Curl here at iHeart in my virtual studio. Today we're talking all things love advice. We have Shawn Johnson and Andrew East, the host of their popular podcast, Couple Things, here with us today. Shawn, Andrew, good morning. How are you guys?
We are great. Ready for some love advice.
Excited for this for sure.
Let me talk about your podcast for a second. I feel like you have such a fan base that love you guys, that listen so dedicated. What is that like for you guys getting to do this podcast to share so intimately with your fans?
I think Shawn's the one with the fan base and I'm just here for a good time. But we have a blast. The podcast is one of our favorite things that we do. Just getting to talk and meet new people is really fun.
We started it because we wanted to talk about relationships because we kept getting frustrated at all these tabloid headlines about divorce, and if you don't find the perfect person, then it's not going to work. And we truly wanted to work on our marriage, and we've been able to talk to so many different couples who have such different relationships, and we've learned so much from them. And it's really cool to see that you don't have to have this cookie cutter relationship for it to work, which is really fun.
You're saying you didn't find the perfect person?
No.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Already spilling the tea. And you guys have been married for how long now at this point?
We're going on 7 years.
7 years.
7 years
in
April.
Oh my God. Okay, well, this is a perfect lead in to our very first question. So this is from some of our fans who just compiled our favorite ones. For each of you, how do you know when you found your soulmate? And I also just want to add an extra layer. Do you both believe in soulmates? Is that something?
Shawn has strong opinions.
I have really strong opinions.
Let's hear it, Shawn. Let's hear it.
I don't believe in a soulmate. I feel like you could marry so many different people in the world and make it work. But I do believe at some point you meet someone who you mesh with enough to be you know what? I love him or her so much that I want to make this work for the rest of my life. And so you could call that a soulmate, to where it's you feel so connected, but I don't think there's only one person in the world for everybody. If there was, there'd be so much pressure to find.
It is. It's a lot. Dating is a lot of pressure. So Andrew, do you also agree with this too, or do you have a whole different mindset?
Yeah, no, I agree with this. I think this might sound bad. I think there's a good enough threshold where you're hey, they're not perfect and they don't match all of the things on my list that I would ideally have in a partner, but they're good enough for me to fully commit to and dive in. And I think it's almost more of a me issue, where it's I'm ready to commit. I'm ready to buy into this for the long run, as opposed to putting the pressure on the other person. It's no, you need to fit my needs.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
I feel often I'm single now and dating, and dating is rough, but it's interesting. I feel sometimes you go into dating and you're okay, I have a checklist of things I want. And then you meet someone and maybe they don't, have that checklist, but you have nice chemistry. It's you feel you could intellectually are compatible. When you two first met, were you both oh wait, taking off all of my boxes, or was it just a slow start where you just felt the chemistry was there?
It's really dangerous to have long checklists, because you could be closing yourself off from people who you are compatible with, but you just won't give a chance. And I feel for Andrew and I, our only checklist items, because we got rid of our checklist because of our past and our exes, was we both wanted to believe be Christians and be Jesus lovers. I think that's it.
That was the bait. That was that's what we needed. Okay.
We just felt if we didn't mesh on that it'd be really hard in the future. But that was the starting point.
This is hilarious to think back on my list. One of the things.
What was your list?
It was I wasn't necessarily into blondes. I wanted them to be 5'6", but then you realize, oh yeah, none of that really matters.
I wanted mine to be 6'9". Okay.
But then you start looking at the list and prioritizing, oh, that's probably more important than her being blonde, not being blonde or whatever. So it's a good maturation process,
It's funny that you mentioned the height, because we actually did get this question. It's from Libby. So she said, does your height difference ever bother you? Her son is 6'5", and it worries her sometimes when he's dating.
It bothers me all the time, to be honest with you. No, here's what.
It does.
I'm not kidding. I can't. I'm looking down on you all the time. We can't take a picture.
Does your neck strain?
It's all messed up. But you're perfect.
You chose me.
I'm just saying, I love you.
So
but
get used
if you
to it.
had 5 inches, I wouldn't be upset.
Then I wouldn't be me.
True, preach. Is it something you ever think about, Shawn?
I was just that girl that wanted a tall guy. I don't know why, but no, I didn't really care. Like my dad is 5'6". So
okay, so it was like you were just comfortable with whatever. Yeah.
It should end up being more about personality.
Agreed. I feel like that's important.
And
this kind of goes.
All the physics work out just fine. Okay, guys. People ask that all the time.
They
People
do?
ask that all the time.
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
They're like, how does it work? I'm like, I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
It's funny that that's like a reoccurring question. Oh my God, people are wild.
People are wild.
This goes back to what we were talking earlier. We had another question. This person wrote in and said, I'm currently seeing someone that I really like, but we don't have that much in common. Do you think opposites attract, or is that also a myth? And I'm curious for you both, do you feel like you're opposite personalities?
Yes.
Really?
I think we're complementary is the word I would use.
I think having different interests is really, really good as long as you're interested in the other person's passions.
Yeah,
or like you make that effort.
Like you entertain
Right.
the other person's interests.
Yeah. If you were marrying or dating the same exact person, that would get kind of boring.
I grew up playing team sports. Shawn did not. She was more of a solo sport type of gal. But I'm used to, hey, I'm really good at this one certain set of things and she's good at this certain set of things. I think viewing it as a team where it's like, hey, I am probably more extroverted and social. Shawn is like really thoughtful and like just kind of probably more interesting and cool. But it's like I think we both complement each other really well. So it's good.
Okay, let me ask you this. I actually like playing this game with people. It's really fun, whether you've just first met them or know them for a long time. If you had to describe, just off the top of your head, not putting too much thought into it, the other person in 3 words, what would it be? Andrew, you go first.
Focused, humble, and thoughtful.
Oh, it's good. Shawn?
Adventurous,
Handsome.
funny, obviously, so smoking hot.
Beautiful.
And a leader.
Oh, this is sweet. Speaking of sweet, while we're sentimental, another question we got. What is something about each other, and again, this is after 7 years of marriage, that still gives you butterflies?
My absolute favorite thing, and the thing that kind of like swept me off my feet, is similar to like the characteristics you were saying. I tend to be very like focused, perfectionist, OCD, really worried about other people's opinions, people pleaser. And Andrew is just so free-spirited. He could care less what people think, and he has so much fun, and he's able to be goofy and just like lives life to the fullest. And he loves doing that with people, and it's just like, it's so fun to watch.
Okay, Andrew, what would you say? You better have a good answer because that was good.
No,
Andrew can't
Pressure's
think of
on.
I think what gives me butterflies still is when she'll like write me a letter as I'm opening it. I'm like so excited still. Or cuddling. I like cuddling.
You're a big snuggler.
Yeah.
Shawn, you mentioned talking about, worried about other people's opinions of you. I think that's such a natural feeling, especially when you're putting yourself and your life out there. And you guys share a lot of stuff on your podcast, which I know so many people are grateful for. You're able to relate. At what point do you ever get nervous sharing too much? Or has there ever been a situation where you wish you wouldn't have shared something on the podcast?
Not necessarily. We definitely like early on learned where our like line was, whether it was like through experiences or not. But I feel like just with every podcast or topic or Instagram or whatever it is we're sharing, we always have a conversation about it first of like, have we like figured it out between us before we're sharing it with the world? We make sure like we're a team before we let people's opinions get in the way.
Sometimes it is a hard line to draw just because some of the more crazy things that happen in life would, make an interesting podcast topic or an interesting YouTube video, but it's not always a good thing to film or put that out there. So I'm really fortunate for Shawn's and thankful for Shawn's wisdom on that, because I probably would naturally skew over that line of like acceptability, but she keeps us in check, so it's good.
A nice checks and balances system. Okay. Yeah, because I was curious about that. We got a few questions that these are like very specific scenarios. So we had one fan ask, my boyfriend likes bikini pictures on Instagram. When I brought it up to him, he apologized, said he didn't realize he was doing it. Is this a deeper red flag I should be aware of?
He said he didn't realize he was doing it? Wow,
And he apologized.
He was like a bit of a red flag.
Is this something he apologized? Maybe he was just, mindlessly scrolling and liking, or do you think this is something that's a deeper red flag?
There's so many things to unpack here, because like, why are bikini pictures so prevalent on his feed? And why are you liking them? Come on.
It's interesting.
Unfortunately, we live in a world where like temptation like that is just served up every single day on a platter. Like you're seeing people in bikinis and like everything all day, every day. So it's not going to go away. I don't want to like jump to conclusions and say, is this a deeper red flag? But if it bothers her and he's not willing to talk about it make a compromise and come up with a solution there, then I'd say that's a deeper red flag.
Did you guys ever have to set boundaries like that? Like, I know some friends and couples that they like only follow their close friends and family. They choose not to follow anyone else. Was that ever a conversation that you guys had to have as a married couple?
This was actually one of the things that right out of the gate, Shawn did a phenomenal job with, where like, you know, we're early in dating and she's talking about her previous relationships. And there's like a way to talk about your previous relationships or exes in like a respectable way. You know, some people will talk about their exes and it's like longing, like, oh, I miss that aspect. But I have never had an issue trusting Shawn. So I hope it's reciprocated.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like we're filtering through or searching through who she's following. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's part of the security in the relationship where it's like, I really trust her and she's never done anything to undermine that.
I distinctly remember one conversation we had about social media specifically and like what it is we're looking at. Do we need to be careful of who we're following? Does that bother you? Does it like whatever? Jordan Matthews said on one of our podcasts, he said, when it comes to social media or like anything that I'm doing, if I'm out at a bar, if I'm at a like appearance, I try to have this thought in my mind of how can I honor my wife or my husband in the best way? So like if you're scrolling through Instagram and you're seeing things, do you think it honors your spouse to be looking at bikini pictures? Or do you think that like doesn't honor them in the best way? So
there's moms today, bro.
You are. Oh my God, take me to church, Shawn. This is
God.
good. Okay, here's another tricky one. Have you ever struggled with not liking a friend of your spouse's?
For sure.
Yes.
And how do you deal with that?
We're very open about it. We've had very straight up conversations about like, I don't enjoy being around this person. And we've both had conversations where
does this person know that this is about them? Has this ever been?
But okay. I know who she's talking about.
And I know who you're talking about. But we've also both had conversations on each side saying, I don't think this person is a good influence for you. You're bringing home things that aren't good for us.
It's not like a, you know, no tolerance thing. They're still like, oh, we'll see them. But it's always a conversation of, hey, well, I'm hanging out with them because X, Y, Z, and, you know, maybe I could positively influence or you know, something.
Well, what about this? And this happens to me kind of often because I have a few friends in New York that are still single. Then when they start dating someone new, maybe they're really excited about it, but here comes the question. You meet them and you actually don't like your friend's partner. Do you say something? Do you not say something? Like, is it your place? Is it ever your place?
There's like levels to this. So if it's just like a stylistic difference, like, oh, they don't shop at the same stores or wear the same whatever, like that does not matter. If it's like a, hey, they have some really toxic, you know, traits about them that will negatively impact you as a person and I care about you as a friend, like you got to be able to delineate, is it just a stylistic or is it actually a core issue? I probably have more tolerance for that though, because I think it's kind of a fun adventure to think about, oh, well, that's interesting that you're my really good friend and I would not have pegged you to date this person. What is that teaching me about you as my friend? Like, I think it kind of reveals something about your friend when they choose a potential, you know, dating partner. So
we both had a long conversation with a close friend of ours when they were dating someone very seriously. We didn't say anything up front of like, we didn't think they were a match or that's not, I don't think that's our place. Because you choose your own person, your friends don't. But it got to a point where like they sat us down and like, what do you think? And I remember talking to that person and just saying, you know what? At the end of the day, this is your person. And if you choose them, we will love them. But can you live with this for the rest of your life?
It's also tough because then if your friend is asking you for your honest feedback and advice, that's where the door is kind of open. But then it's tricky if they stay together. And then, you know, there's always that thing like, do they feel like I don't like them?
Yeah, but there's always like a filter you don't want to necessarily always spew like the raw, like, because some of that's just you not being able to deal with whatever quality.
Your why has to be more than I don't like them. I think that's the hard part is you have to be able to throw that out the window and be like, listen, I don't appreciate when they treat you like this or they do this. Can you explain that to me? Or
now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I got you.
Let's talk about pet peeves for a second because we got this question a lot. Do you have pet peeves with each other? I don't know if you guys have seen the viral TikToks about people saying their icks for the other one. Do you have pet peeves? And we had one question. If you could change one pet peeve about the other one, what would it be?
We 1,000% have pet peeves with each other.
I was going to say no.
Oh, come on.
You're just a beacon of perfection.
Whatever.
All right, Shawn puts freaking...
See?
Now he knows. Now he launches in.
Hands into the sink, and the sink is right by the trash can. She'll just put it in the sink. I'm like, all right, why don't you just put it in the trash can right there? Like, what are you doing?
And Andrew will put dirty paper towels right on top of the trash can, but not in them.
I reuse it.
You wad it up and you throw it on the counter. And you don't close cabinet
Shawn
doors.
will progressively clean. Like, say I have like a toolkit out because I'm working on something.
Yeah.
she'll like come by and clean it up and put it away. I'm like, I'm still using this. Like I need it out. You can't just clean it up and just feel.
Progressively using doesn't mean like over the course of days. You have to clean it up after.
We have way too many throw pillows on the bed. It's like absolutely unreasonable. It's probably 15
How long is your
pillows.
list, bro?
Oh, she not.
Andrew's like, I have none. Let me whip it out. It's like a scroll. You need throw pillows though. They're important.
Yes.
I don't know why they're important. I still don't get it.
You use every single one of them when you sleep.
Absolutely not. You just push them off the bed and you get mad because you're like, you should have taken the pillows off the bed before
I will say, a pet peeve of mine is we'll be getting ready to like for bed. It takes me longer to get ready for bed. So he's always like laying in bed by the time I come like into the bedroom. And instead of like taking the throw pillows off the bed,
why are they
just
there?
Pushed them to my side. And I'm like,
so you have to take them
You
off.
shouldn't be there in the first place. All right, let's go on to the next one. Since you're asked, Emily.
God.
I on my countertop in the bathroom have like 3 items, like toothbrush, toothpaste, and whatever else.
Facial hair.
No, I
spit.
have like 3 things.
Oh
Shawn
my
is just
God, the
absolutely
facial hair.
packed. It's chaos over there, and she'll like tidy mine up. I'm like, dude, tidy your own house up. What are we doing?
I have organizers on mine.
That
okay?
doesn't. Oh my gosh. But other than that, no, it's pretty good.
No, we have none.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's none. It's good.
Yeah.
We had a hilarious one. So someone wrote this one in. Am I an asshole for getting the ick by my boyfriend clipping his toenails in front of me?
No, but I also think some people are just really grossed out by feet.
Some people are really into feet. Shawn
Yeah,
has
some people
little
really like
feet
feet.
that. She's like a foot fetish community online.
No.
I thought you were about to say I had a foot fetish. I was like,
Do you?
No.
Do you have foot fan pages, Shawn?
No, but we always get comments, people like, will you send me a picture of your feet? I'm like, gross.
Why do you think
Andrew,
I'm
do you like Shawn's feet?
Stop
Okay,
it.
I'm kidding.
Oh my God, that's
I don't know, the
hysterical.
toenail thing, that wouldn't give me the ick.
But like, if that's gross to her,
If
be
that's
like,
your thing.
clip your toenails in the bathroom. Yeah.
For you both, have you ever gone to couples therapy and would you recommend it for couples?
Yes, we have. And yes, 1,000%.
Really?
Oh my gosh. I think it's so good. We did premarital counseling and I thought it was the greatest thing we could ever do for our marriage because it just like equips you with so many tools to like argue and get through topics like finance and intimacy and just all these things. And one of my favorite things that I walked away with from our first session with our premarital counselor was he said basically you're 2 different humans that speak 2 different languages. Like think of a counselor as like an interpreter. Whenever you like are butting heads and you can't understand each other, it's just because you guys speak different languages and like understand things differently.
Again, Shawn and I are fortunate because we both understand that we're on the same team, but sometimes like we just butt heads. It's nice to have a third party there to kind of help you navigate, like just bounce ideas off of, or almost be like a coach where it's, if Shawn's telling me like, Andrew, you're disrespecting me because you're doing XYZ, that comes off as like kind of offensive. But if it's like a coach who's been married longer than either of us have, like we've been married the same amount of time, so we each have the same amount of wisdom that comes with it. But if there's like someone else who's been counseling for decades, then they have a really helpful perspective that could get us through that. So if the criticism and feedback is coming from them, you're just, at least me, I'm able to receive it a little better, be like, oh
yeah, you process it a different way. So now do you just go to therapy as needed? Is that something just if you guys...
I was about to say, so we actually don't believe in like counseling as needed because that usually means you're letting something get big enough to where you are like in emergency situations. You know, we like to think of it as like maintenance. So we tried a new counselor once and we showed up and she was like, okay, tell me what's wrong. And we're like, nothing's wrong. We're just here. And she's like, what do you mean? And we're like, we just want to like work on this. And she's like, work on what? Like what happened? And we're like, nothing happened. We just think it's like great to like put maintenance into your relationship because if you do that, then you don't get into those emergency situations.
Yeah.
Right, like you have like the tools needed to work through it.
It's way more painful to like, be in a broken car on the side of the road than it is to like maintain your car consistently along the way so you don't get in that situation. That's kind of, was that a good
analogies? Oh, that was good.
Was that a good analogy? Come on, give me some credit. Did I do it?
You might have brought that one.
Okay, so we're iHeart. So our last question that we got in, let me preface by saying, are you both Swifties? Do you like Taylor Swift?
Absolutely. What?
What? Shawn, no.
Lunch. Okay, I have a wall of
Die Hard. What do you mean?
I have a wall of inspiration, and I think everyone but one piece of like, it's like framed jerseys or like a helmet or whatever. It's all sports memorabilia because I love it, except for Taylor Swift. And I have each album cover that she's come out with. Because no, it's incredible.
I would
what
say
she's
I'm
done.
a believer.
You're a believer? So Justin is
Probably.
like your probably.
I'm like not a diehard. I love country music.
And you're not a believer.
No, but I would lean more towards Justin Bieber than Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Like, of course, I could probably sing all of her songs, but like when her albums come out, I'm not like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay.
What was your question though, Emily?
My question was, going back to this, what is your favorite Taylor Swift album? And now I'm curious, since you're a big Swiftie and you know all of them, what do you think is the best one?
Oh gosh, it's an impossible question.
I couldn't even
It's
name
impossible.
her albums.
Sean, we're gonna have to kick you off the Zoom. I'm sorry. It's been so much.
I'm assuming.
Totally though, I will say I respect her so much.
Yes.
Like what she's done with her career is so incredibly like the way she's like transitioned and rebranded and gone from genre to genre, and like she's a true artist, which is like so cool.
All right, is it the Speak Now?
You like the early Swift.
I do.
You like the
I mean, there's like songs like Never Grow Up on that one. It's such a hard question.
Never grow up. Aw. I feel like I learned a lot about you to that suggestion. Sean, who's like your favorite country artist?
I love Chris Stapleton or like Luke Combs.
Yeah.
Like Soulful.
Are you into the Zach Bryan craze? I feel like I've seen him all over TikTok.
Yes. Or like Noah
Khan. Yes, Noah Khan. We're big fans at iHeart. We actually just did something with him. It was so fun.
Yeah, love his stuff.
We love you guys. This has been so fun. I actually could keep going for like another hour, but we're respecting your time. But truly, thank you so much for being here and answering all of our fan questions. I know these were some good ones that people sent in. So we so appreciate you being here. Congratulations on the podcast.
It's so much fun.
You dropped bombs today.
Yeah.
You dropped bombs, dude.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here. And don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. Bye guys.